I ended up going live on YouTube first, so sorry, excuse me. Usually I do y'all last. But I did you first. I didn't want to go live with you at all yet. I wasn't ready, but it's okay. But peace, y'all. Welcome to the Planetary Forecast. We're making it. Look at me. Doing stuff. Being consistent. We love it here. Be proud. I'm fighting for my life. I'm fighting for my life. Um, Yesterday I did a 2025 recap where I talked about all the numbers of 2025, the different months into the year, and what that meant. And then I talked about some of the retrogrades happening during the year and all that fun stuff. So, if you're interested, feel free to check it out. It's a great experience. I didn't think this through at all. Please give me grace. Okay. So, starting off, we could talk about. Ooh. Still here? I made it? Okay. So, starting off, we could talk about. In the Egyptian calendar, we are in the season of Peret. This is the season of emergence. Peace, y'all. Welcome. In the season of emergence, now we're going to start seeing like things warm up and plants emerge and stuff. And this goes from January to May. So how like their seasons are broken up in like ancient Egyptian or Kemetic calendar, it's 3 seasons a year, and each season has 4 months, and each and 4 months have 30 days. So still like a 120-day cycle in each season, and so in each month, the months are broken up into decans. So instead of having a 7-day week, there's a 10-day week. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Hey, Armand, peace. So instead of there being a 7-day work day, there's a 10-day day. They're called decans, and the months are named after whatever celebration they're doing that month. So that's how that calendar goes. And we are currently in the energy of the Nile. We started that today on the 1st. The Nile is, let me go to my notes. This is the energy of being intuitive, logical, peaceful, practical, influenced by passions, being wise and observant. Hey, Patrick, you heard 10 people got killed. Oh, you talking about the New Orleans thing? But that's the energy of the Nile being in alignment with the water, things flowing. We're in the energy of the Nile from the 1st to the 17th. Then we go into the energy of Amun Ra from the 18th to the 21st. And then we're in Mut from the 22nd to the 31st. We have on a Gregorian calendar, we are in the year of 9. And so we are in the energy of gold according to the alchemist horoscope. This is being passionate, interesting, and faithful. In a space where you're like attracting a lot of people, being a part of crowds, creating long lasting relationships, love of luxury during this time, and spending minis. Ambition and willpower are the keys to this year being in gold. The baobab tree is the horoscope. I found this on the website for West African horoscope. This goes from January 4th to February 3rd. This is being strong, invincible, resilient, having the resources to conquer, integrity, honesty, reflection, and cleverness, living a well structured and prosperous life. Um, Peace, love. I'm doing well. How are you? Yes, ma'am. May God bless you. Thank you. Same to you, love. As far as Native American horoscope, we are in the energy of the snow goose. This is the butterfly clan, so this is air energy, being self-confident and teaching others around us, finding balance and adapting to environment, needing to find integrity to boost self-esteem is the key here. We are still in the energy of the wood dragon. We don't get out of here until January 29th when we experience our second new moon. So that's how it goes. It's the second new moon after the winter solstice. That's when we have our lunar new year. And so that's January 29th. But right now we're still in the wood dragon, making use of our environment and having an intuitive sense of timing. Um, so success will not be difficult to attain. So self-management, time management, definitely keys during this season. Hopefully you guys were flowing with it, even during the high highs and low lows. Y'all know the goal was to be the homeostasis in the middle. Ashe to those who did it. You know what I'm saying? Um, so now I have to figure out what I'm gonna do with y'all because y'all on my keyboard, y'all on my screen. Y'all sitting on my screen now. I need my screen now. So what I like to do for those of you guys who are just now coming in here and you guys never been here before, welcome to the Planetary Forecast. What I do here is I talk about where the planets are at on an astronomical and astrological level from new moon to new moon, because new moon to new moon is a full cycle. The full moon is the midpoint, midheaven space, whatever. And so we talk about, I do this in different ways. Every time I experiment, I expand and all that fun stuff. So what I've been doing lately is looking at the actual graph of it and going from house to house. On the tropical, which is your thought process, how you think things are, the Vedic, which is your energy exchanges, the events that are actually happening, and Draconic, which is your soul experience. So I compare and contrast the three, you know what I'm saying, from new moon, which recently was December 30th, to new moon, which will be January 29th. Hey DJ Parquet, what's up? So we can get started, you know what I'm saying? uh I wanted to talk a little bit about, because I know like on the Gregorian calendar we are in the year of nine. The Gregorian calendar was like a cleanup of Julius calendar, because Julius calendar was tripping. It was a lot of political stuff in the calendar. He was just adding stuff just to be adding stuff. So Gregorian calendar was trying to clean that up. It is in a lot alignment in terms of measurement of time and space, but not necessarily the names and language with the Kemetic calendar, which stuck to the 365. It's just the Kemetic is broken down into 3 seasons, 4 months each season. Boo blah. Yeah, I went through this already. But aside from that, however, the Kemetic year is sidereal. It measures the time that which is considered the heliacal, which is like the sun rising of Sirius star, which happens every 1,460 years, 61 years. We are now currently in year 424 of that happening. Year one is like the year of the rising of the gods. Um, so like technically we're in year 424 when it comes to Sirius star. Uh, the Sigwi festival is when the star starts to be in our solar's ecliptical, and so that is actually in 2050. I read somewhere. Um, anyway, coming back from that, um, the new year is supposed to be on August 1st, actually. And that's when we have the first appearance of Sirius Star. The and It's the first full moon after the appearance of Sirius Star in our sky, which usually falls on August 1st, which is like Lionsgate time. So that's usually when the new year actually is. If you want to be in alignment with the Kemetic calendar. Um, it used to be like around July 18th, but things move and you know measurements change, and so over time now it's considered August 1st. All right, so that's that. Aside from that, I know we have Aries being the New Year's. That's more so in alignment with the seasons, and spring is spring, and that's the space of fertility and new beginnings. In the Roman calendar, January is considered the season of new beginnings because, well, they use January, Janus, which is their deity of new beginnings and transitions and stuff. But it was considered the new beginnings because what had happened was they needed 2 extra months for the winter. Because, like I said, the Julius calendar was just a bunch of riffraff for his ego. And so when they added the 2 months of winter, it was the mindset after like what's going on after the winter solstice. So when you think about it, after the winter solstice, you have, now we're starting to get more sunlight. So coming into that space where you get like the darkest night of the year, you're coming out of that like, full on darkness and starting to get more and more light. That is the new beginning. That is the Janus. And that is not the whole science, but it's a nice chunk of the science behind January 1st being the new year. So we don't have to, hate it entirely. Use all of them. All of them are different pentagrams for different things. That's me being, so Mercurian, being the goddess of the crossroads and stuff. I do all of them. I do what I want. I'm gonna use all the charts and I'm gonna use all the calendars. And if I could learn all the languages, I would use all the languages. Like I use all the religions. I do what I want. You do what you want. That's the information on that. So it's actually August 1st. It's not Aries season. Aries season is, a different mindset between like what the new beginning is. And so they fall. There's an Aries, which is the god of war, um, season, rather than during the season of the Ketters, which is the first Sephiroth. And then you have, you know, the month of 8 transformations being the new year for Sirius Star. So different reasons for different things. Um, Wep Rompet is a new year. And then you have the Coptic and Julian calendar mixed. So that's like the Egyptian and Julian calendar together. In that space, we're in the year 1734. Um, in the Ethiopian calendar, we're actually in 2017. That's interesting. Their new year is on 9/11 or 9/12. It depends on if it's a leap year or whatever. And that begins like the year one started during Christ's Annunciation. So that's when the angel Gabriel went to Mary and was like, "Yeah, you're gonna have a baby." So that marks, their new year, year one, whatever, what have you. Makes sense. Um, but those are like the different kind of New Years. I talked about yesterday when we did the numerology, this being a year of Jubilee, being a year of 9, Sagittarius, Jupiter year of abundance and expansion. Um, the portals being open in alignment with the Jubilee. We went through all the rabbit holes with the different temples that was open. We talked about how year one was 2017, so we went back to some major events that happened in year one, and we, brought that forward to the year nine. I know that recently there was a news story about someone driving their car and hitting people with their cars. um, that was something that also happened during the year of one. The guy that was driving across London Bridge and hit people, and then it was another guy that was driving into the World Trade Center site and was hitting people. So interesting, circle of things. But you guys think about what was going on in 2017. This is why I emphasize and I stress journaling. Go back into 2017 and look into some of the things you were experiencing, some of the things you were starting, you were working on, some aha moments, because Jupiter deals with expansion and abundance. And Jupiter also rules over business, your business self as well, your moral code and stuff like that. So some of the awakening moments you may have experienced in 2017, some business ideas, things like that. If you see yourself doing it little bit, as the time goes off into this year of nine, probably be the year you give birth to some dope shit. You finally get like, your fruit of your labor. And we like fruit. I like fruit. I hope you guys like fruit. So yeah, that's what was happening. The last year 1 to 9 that we experienced was 2008 to 2016. 2008, the biggest thing that I won't say the biggest, but it was pretty big, was Obama getting into the White House. So that was a whole thing. Um, Also to come back a little bit, as far as like, the new year being in Aries energy, in the Persian culture, the New Year's is around Aries season. This dates back to the 6th century BC. This celebration is for about 13 days. And the Buddhist culture, they're about Aries season too. They deal with the sun and moon sidereal. And their year one is when Gautama Buddha passed. We know the Chinese New Year is when we have the second new moon after the winter solstice. And that was created by the Shang dynasty over 3,000 years ago. Um, the Islamic calendar does June 26th. Um, their year one is when Muhammad went from Mecca, Medina to Medina, and this is the first crescent moon after the new moon during that month that Muhammad went from Mecca to Medina. So that is that how theirs is set up. So it's lunar, but it's also event based. Um, mm, 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 yeah. So that's on New Year's. Doing too much. Anyway, so now we can get into the chart as far as the tropical, the sidereal, and the draconic chart go. The new moon that we had was over in like Sagittarius, Capricorn, like on the cusp. It was actually at 0 degrees Capricorn. So we can talk about it. Let's start. Let's start there. We can start where the moon was. And I have to find something to do with you guys. Hold on a second. I think I found something. Well, my stuff's spilling out of it. Hold on one second. Thanks, sweet. Brief intermission. I'm gonna clear my space. Just throw it in the box. Thank you. There we go. And hello. There we go. How y'all doing? Welcome, welcome. Is that your workplace or apartment? It's an apartment. It's like a townhouse. Alright, okay. Nice hair. Thank you. Thank you for liking my hair. Okay. So, starting with the moon. Let's talk about it. So, the moon is at 0 degrees in the tropical chart in our thought process. The sun is literally on the IC line. Now, the IC line is like, what is this is like nurturing what you need to receive from other people and like your bonds and your relationships. This is nurturing energy. That's like fourth house, home and family, Cancer vibes, that intuition, stuff like that. So you have the sun on that home and family, that maternal energy on that IC line or reception, and just sitting on Capricorn at an 8 degree. So the moon is actually in the third house. So we have the moon at 0 degrees Capricorn, and the third house. The third house is community and communication. So we have our internal, our third eye energy, how we're experiencing things, how we feel, kind of going towards like the challenges, more so thinking about the challenges, the things we're standing under, how we want to secure ourselves and how we obtain our resources, the self-discipline we want to create for ourselves. All that stuff is like third eye thoughts, and more so communicating it, but also like going, wanting to go into our community to receive it. It's not so much as like a lone star type of energy right here. The sun is in Capricorn, so giving us those experiences in that space. You know, it's a new moon, so of course they were in the same sign. But it's at an 8 degree, so it's at that degree of transformation and empowerment. 8 dealing with that Scorpius energy, which is in the solar plexus chakra. It's the celestial enforcer, and that's on the line. So like enforcing that, like, this is what I need to nurture my goals. This is what I need to do the things I got to do, be where I need to be. These things in the third. So that's going from the third house into the fourth house. Also in the fourth house also goes into Aquarius a little bit. So, you know, getting into the root of your home and family infrastructure, paying attention to the resources on how you obtain your home and family. Those are big things going on right now in our space. A lot of businesses, the go-to is businesses that contribute to that said nurturing, where you want to go and how you want to build up your finances and stuff like that. In the fourth house, we also have Pluto there, creating transformations, bringing things into the forefront, revealing things to us, you know, empowering, and it's in Aquarius, so it's on a societal level. So it's like, you know, it's kind of like that mindset, like your support is going to come from strangers, it's going to come from society, it's not going to come from people you already know. And that's what like Pluto and Aquarius in the fourth house right now. So the things that you're trying to do, you know, 12:30 is around the time when you start thinking about your New Year's resolutions. Like the moon is in those lunar mansions to start planning it out. The moon is also in those zodiacs and constellations to start thinking about it, internalizing it, and planning it out. And So Pluto is kind of like empowering you to do so, and it's also letting you know like your support is going to come from society. It's not, if you want to have these things, you creating these things, don't think it's going to come from people that's already in your circle. You ain't meet the people yet, so it's getting close to that time to start going outside. But right now, you need to plan things out. Um, I'm going to read my notes from. Oh, is my binder always all the way at the bottom? Yeah. It is. If I could, it's all the way down there. But I want to read like the order of operations through Metu Netter on how to manifest what it is that you want, because I want to give y'all an idea of where we at. I'll do that later. Anyway, um, but yeah, Pluto is here to empower you in that realm of things, create transformations. Aquarius also rules over electronic your experience. Thank you, Suki. I appreciate that. I do my best. Um, Aquarius also rules over electronic communication and people that are like separate from society, like they're in jail, they're in hospitals, hospices, boarding schools, colleges, stuff like that. But electronic communication too. So a lot of that is also coming from like what I'm doing right now, talking to you guys. A lot of your support is going to come from those avenues as well. It's big empowerment here, transformations happening here, all that fun stuff. We are in the Jupiter rule Pada right now with oh, I like that this has the Padas on it. That's fire. Yeah. So we are in the Jupiter rule Pada right now. So it's in a space of generosity and stuff like that. So then when we move into the fifth house, now we're moving into the Leo house. We're moving into that house of confidence and courageousness, where your heart is, what I'm saying. We do have Venus there, being more confident and courageousness with spaces of business, things that you're prioritizing in your life. What I'm saying? Now it's like, yeah, I really feel a pull. Like, I need to get this done. I'm excited about it. I want it. Like, right now, it is in Aquarius. So again, this is a societal thing. It's not going to be a one man band situation. So, just learn how to, accept that collective kind of energy. Is in the Mars pada. So yeah, definitely right now in the space and time, we definitely feel that pull, that motivation to align with society, to get some things that you're prioritizing done with, like in spaces of business and wealth, what you find value in, beauty. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you want to lose, how you look at yourself in the mirror. How you, I don't know what sentence I was trying to create in my head. How you look at your body in the mirror versus like, the body you want to see. Some people go on diets, some people start working out, some people, get makeup, or I want to buy new clothes, or I need to go get a tan, I want to go to a spa, like different things like that. But yeah, just feeling more motivated to do that. Then we go into the sixth house. The sixth house starts in the Jupiter pada. So, all right, y'all, be very careful. I know that there's a lot of stuff going on right now with people getting sick and stuff, and that's heavy because sixth house is the house of dis-ease. So it could be a lot to do with that. Being in Jupiter, Jupiter will expand that energy, and that's where this house starts at. We also have Jupiter in the sixth house in Pisces. So a lot of lately, a lot of the readings I've done, I've been telling people to check on their nervous system, especially being in a year of 9. Be mindful of headaches, sinus congestion, and all this stuff in the head, ear, nose, and throat situation. Just like, be aware, be mindful. Preventative measures is heavy here because it is expansion and it is going to be easily spread because of how it is. Now, we talk about this on the level of the cosmos. However, we know, hey Zim, how you doing, love? We know some people are compelled by the cosmos. So, you have those people that say, oh, well, there's people spraying stuff in the sky, and, it's this talk that they're going to have another such and such. And, people don't realize when they're speaking about it in the thousands or whatever, they're speaking into existence. You know what I'm saying? It's like a certain level of responsibility you have to have with your throat chakra. Like, if we know we could speak things into existence and we could think things into existence, if we sit on our platforms where we know that there's, a crowd of other people watching us, we got to be mindful if we speak because it's being repeated, regurgitated, repeated, regurgitated, repeated. Like a shared post. So you're putting minds collectively together to think on that. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't want that to happen, don't put the collective minds together to think on that. You know what I'm saying? So I would say like that is the gist that I feel as far as the remedy with the different like concepts behind everybody experiencing certain like ailments. But again, on a celestial level, the sixth pada of dis-ease is starting in the pada of expansion, and Jupiter is right at it. It's actually kind of like on the cusp between the Jupiter and the Mercury pada and the sixth house. So we're getting more so into the space of, again, ear, nose, and throat. Check on your congestion, headaches, and all that stuff like that. And then we have Neptune sitting in a Saturn pada. So there's like challenges coming to your dream self, hidden agendas, things beneath the horizon, accessing the Akashic records, fulfilling certain things. There's a little bit of resistance there, but the resistance is to challenge you for strength. It's not to challenge you to like deter you or dishearten you or make you want to give up. So keep pushing on, y'all. Again, be mindful of your nervous system. Check on your nervous system, your mental health, your neurons, and you know headaches and stuff like that. The North Node is also here by Neptune, and North Node is like, the direction that we're going into, as a collective. And it's sitting in that pod of Jupiter, Jupiter and Pisces. So the sacral chakra is a big space here for us. I talked about this yesterday, us being in the year 9, the 9 rolling over the sacral chakra. Paying attention to your reproductive health is a big thing here. I have my own little conspiracy theories because we do have different energies and powers that be, and whether it's a human making man-made things or it's nature adapting and trying to take over, different bacterias, attacking the reproductive organs, different chemicals, whatever, what have you. So protect yourself, be aware, get yourself checked out, this, that, and third, because that's heavy sacral chakra energy there. Womb healing, reproductive health healing, sacral chakra healing, going back into the spaces that find you joy, tapping back into your sensual sexual self. Those are really good keys, you know what I'm saying? And this is all in the tropical. So this is all in our thought process. We've made it from the IC line, which is how we need to be nurtured, what we need to receive, all the way to the DC line just now. The DC line right now is between the 6th and 7th house. So the DC line is also a line of reception. So when the IC is of like belonging, home, and family, DC line is belonging more so in like interpersonal relationships and bonds and contracts. So it gets more like business like, but not entirely. It's like a midpoint between the IC and the MC line, because the MC line is straight business, Capricorn, and the IC line is like, oh, and that's the IC line, Cancer. And so the DC line is like a blend between the both, you know what I'm saying, business and all. And then, the AC line is like a blend of between the both, but on a flip, where it's more like business than and that's the Aries. So yeah, that's how it goes. If anybody wants to learn the lines and the different energy they give off, that's basically it in a nutshell. And that's also how they're labeled when you get into astrocartography, which is the different experiences you'll have across the map as we know it. It's divided into those 4 lines and the planets. Anyway, let's get into the IC line of the sidereals, because while all that's going on in our mindset, we were having certain kinds of experiences. All right, so like I said, the sun and moon, they're in the 3rd house, while the moon is the sun and moon are in the 3rd to 4th house, right? So the houses stay the same when you're dealing with the tropical versus the Vedic. The houses are the same. What changes is, instead of dealing with the zodiac, which is on a fixed 360 divided into 12 30-degree parts, you're dealing with the constellations, and constellations come in different sizes. So not all constellations are 30 degrees. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller, whatever. So when we get into the sidereal or the Vedic, we get into the actual star. If you want to get into the nakshatras, you get into the padas, which pointed all the way down to the star. that planet is nearby and gives you like a more gist of the electromagnetic energy. That's why they say like Hindu astrology is the most accurate, because it pins it down to the star. You know what quadrant of this constellation is this planetary body is in, or whatever. Um, so now we're dealing with the events on the sidereal. But both are necessary, because while certain things are happening, your mindset is somewhere else. And that's why it's important to get into those with your natal chart, because you could be having different experiences, but your mindset is thinking things. And it's really good to get into that with the progressive chart, which is like essentially like, where are you at now? You know, how are you now? Hey GL, how you doing, love? So getting into the actual happenings of things, we have the moon sitting in that community, wanting the community, and it's in Sagittarius, so in this space of abundance and joy. You have the sun sitting on that fourth house line of home and family, as you have it sitting in that Sagittarius of abundance. So actually having energy exchanges with community and home and family. A lot of you guys going to events, going to dinners, going out and about. That's in alignment with the sun and moon. Now you personally got to figure out where your sun moon is. A lot of you fire signs, were more so in support of the sun and moon being in this abundant Sagittarius energy, aligning third house community and fourth house home and family, and bringing them together. Some of you guys, your energy was in opposition to this or square this, so there was a back and forth, and it was like, I'm gonna just stay in the house. You know what I'm saying? So you find out where your sun and moon was in alignment with this sun and moon. It will help you, have like a different perspective on those different back and forth conversations in your head, if that makes sense, right? So you have the sun and moon sitting there, and then when we come into the fourth house, again, we have Pluto sitting here creating transformations in the home and family and the maternal structure of things, empowering yourself on how you nurture the things that you want. Peace, love. Thank you for the gifts. And Pluto is sitting in Capricorn on the Vedic chart. So it's sitting in the Capricorn constellation is the different in that energy is because in our mindset, while it's sitting in Aquarius, it's changing and empowering us on electronic communication, communicating with people far away. Hey love, how you doing? Pieces. Um, it's changing how we communicate through social media, how empowered we are as a society. We find ourselves becoming more and more empowered and wanting to say things and wanting change for things and stuff like that. That's all happening in our mindset. What's actually happening in the events around us is Pluto's providing those transformations to Capricorn, which is the actual infrastructure of things, the root of all things, how authority is set up, how we obtain our resources, the different challenges that we're experiencing or changing, um, how we uh, how we reach like self-discipline and order, and how we create our boundaries. All of that is actually changing in the events of it all. And then we get into our fifth house, which is a Tippereth. That's Leo, confidence and courageousness. When we get into that house, again, we're dealing with Venus. So in our mindset, Venus is in Aquarius energy and that pada of Mars. So it's in the space of, prioritizing society, love, value, finding your business and wealth in society and being motivated by that. I got to go out here, either on electronic communication, or I'm going out here organically and I'm talking to people, but it's going to be societal. It's not going to be home and family. It's not going to be people you already got connections with. You know what I'm saying? Over here in the actual events of things, this Venus is in the Jupiter pada, creating expansion to your business and your priorities and stuff like that, and Aquarius. So it's just in a different pada. Instead of it being at 25 degrees, it's at 1 degree, because the term is called Ayana Masa. And what the Ayana Masa is the difference, the degree of difference between the tropical chart, the Western zodiac, and the Vedic chart. And that's 24 degrees. Okay. So if you're ever looking at your tropical chart and you want to like just calculate the Vedic chart or whatever, you're going to take that degree placement and just subtract 24 degrees, and that'll tell you where that planet is on the Vedic chart. So say my moon is at 26 degrees Aries. I'm going to subtract 24 degrees. So that means on the Vedic chart, my moon is at a 2 degree Aries. Make sense? Did I do the math right? I think so. All right. So yeah. Um we still have Venus over there, and Aquarius still like prioritizing So for those of you guys who are utilizing social media, you guys are like going out and socializing and stuff, you'll see like a big abundant return happening in your events. So in your mindset, you're motivated, and your events, you're receiving, and it's like, thank you, time, peace, love. Um, and so then we get into the sixth house. We have Saturn sitting there. Again, talking about the dis-ease. To the challenges and the difficulties. Can you watch what you're doing? Huh? Can you watch what you're doing? Instead of it being in the pada of Mercury, it's in the pada of Jupiter. So, like, in our actual events, a lot of the challenges can be happening in our space of business. How businesses are operating right now. That's what's creating the challenge in our root chakra, how we obtain resources, which is kind of like a duh moment. But I'm just saying, this is another way to utilize your perspective. This is also happening in Aquarius, so this is also a societal manner. So while Saturn in our thought process is happening in Pisces, so it's like, how we believe things to be, the delusions we've been following and flowing under, and, the ones that other people have been creating, in our mindset. It's a lot of dreaming, a lot of tapping into our subconscious, going into get into our Akashic records, going, into philosophical dialogue in our mindset. What's happening in our energy exchanges is like challenges happening to our actual society. And this is why I say, like, as a collective, we really should be careful of the things that we're saying here, because we're creating it to be true. Now, if we want transformations in the system or whatever, what have you, cool, but we collectively speak on how we want to go about it. You know what I'm saying? How we want to prepare ourselves and stuff like that without the fear mongering. Anyway, Neptune is also over here. Now, Neptune is in Pisces on the tropical and the Vedic. So in our mindset, we are in alignment with that portal being open. A lot of our experiences are spiritual experiences. Again, coming to that mindset, if you think it, you can make it. All right. While in our thought process, there was a lot of challenges happening there because Neptune is in that Saturn pada. Over here on this side, Neptune is actually in that Venusian pada. So it's a lot of now it's more so towards, like, again, that business, what we value and what we prioritize, our thought process on that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us are more so, I don't want to use the word monetize, but more so aligning purpose with our business rather than just like chasing. Because even the people that were up here like following the trends of social media, like, this is how you make a bunch of money, this is like, even if they have been successful with the money, there's challenges happening there that's making them rethink how they're spending their time. And then for other people, it's like, yeah, the money is there, but it's so much pushback and so much that they're absorbing and dealing with that now is making them rethink, like, this is in alignment with my purpose. I want to do something else. Like, I don't feel in alignment with this anymore. So having that there is having that there. And the North Node is also close by, still in the Pisces energy. Now in our thought process, the North Node is in Aries, y'all. So it's new beginnings in our mindset. A lot of people are thinking war, fire, doom and gloom. It's going to be violent. That's all, the North Node and Mars in our mindset. Which actually happening in our events is the Piscean energy. Is Mayat. Mayat is in charge. We're moving more towards the alignment of the spiritual law of things, the celestial law of things, the above and below, complementary of all of that. And then we get to the DC line, which I said is like alignment between that nurturing and that business self, or whatever. More so nurturing than business because it is Libra. Okay. In our thought process, that DC line starts in Aries in the seventh house. We don't have any celestial bodies in Aries in the seventh house, so it is an open space there, as far as new beginnings happening in law and justice, interpersonal relationships, bonds and contracts. So if you're looking for like a big something different, then probably not right now. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, love. As far as on our energy exchanges, that seventh house, again, no celestial bodies there in the seventh house, and that is between Pisces and Aries. So, if you're looking for a big new beginning, or like, some type of law, justice, or whatever that brings new beginnings, or law and justice that happens in your subconscious realm and stuff like that, not yet. Then we get into the eighth house. The eighth house is the house of transformation, death and rebirth, empowerment, secrets coming out. Uranus is sitting over there in the eighth house on the tropical and in the Vedic chart. So what's happening with Uranus sitting over there in the eighth house is progressive pushes. A lot of progressive pushes happening through like currency changes. Whether it's like literal currency as far as like water goes, oceans, flooding or whatever, rain, storms. Also currency like the representative, like money. The different maritime law plays and stuff like that. There's a lot of progressive pushes happening there to be, you know, different, better in our thought process. There is in Saturn, so it's challenges happening. Uranus is sitting over there in Taurus in the eighth house, so transformations and secrets coming about how business and wealth and spaces of beauty like fashion and makeup and artistry and all that stuff have been moving. They're being progressively pushed to be different. The rise and fall of empires in those realms are happening here right now in this space and time. And the eight deals with the above and below, so the physical and non-physical. So like I was saying yesterday in the 2025 forecast, make sure y'all check that out on YouTube. I talk about the whole 2025 and all the numbers and stars around it. But like I was saying there, just like over here, we see like a rise and fall of CEOs, different type of businesses. It's less about bag chasing or whatever, and more about people flowing into their purpose and what brings them joy and makes them happy. We're not laboring anymore. If it's not something we want to do, we're not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whatever, the opposing energy wants to label it as, the labels aren't working anymore. You know what I'm saying? They don't work anymore. And so that same thing is happening on the other side. There are, different hierarchical powers that be in the celestial realm that are being forced to step down, different truths coming out, who was helping who was doing what. So that's what the eight represents, is the spiritual and the physical realm, and how both are flowing there, and Uranus is pushing both sides. And it's all in the space of value and wealth. And that's why we see like that big transformation happening in Hollywood, and consumerism, and the beauty market and the sex industry and all that stuff like that. That's all Uranus there. And our thought process is a lot of challenges happening there to rebuild the infrastructure of it all. And our experiences, energy exchanges is Uranus is also in that Saturn pada as well, still giving us the challenges. Now we get to the ninth house in a thought process. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. When we get to the ninth house, now we're in that house of Sagittarius. Now we're in that space of getting your wisdom from the oracle and the sages. We're in that space of I had to think for a second. It's a sacral chakra, joy, expansion and abundance, being in philanthropy, building a utopia, all of that. So in the ninth house on the tropical and Vedic chart, we have Jupiter sitting there in the ninth house. So Jupiter is in its home house, giving us expansion and abundance and joy. Tapping into your sacral chakra is key. Again, paying attention to your reproductive health, your nervous system, your neurons, your thoughts, headache, sinuses, all that fun stuff. Jupiter is sitting in Gemini in our thought process. So community, intellect, wanting to be versatile and adaptable, but hopefully still wanting to be stable is a big thing here. Wanting to be more generous with your community, and building more things with your community. That's what's going on in our mind. Jupiter is also in the Jupiter Pada. So again, this is new moon. This is how we start off the new moon. Wasn't playing. It's like, yeah, it's joy. It's joy all over here. We happy. Everybody's like, oh my God, we made it. In our actual energy exchanges, we have Jupiter sitting here at the 19th degree in Taurus energy. So it's that expansion and abundance again coming to that business self. So I know you guys see a lot of readers putting, different zodiac signs like, oh, an abundance is coming to you, da da da. A lot of this is directed to my fixed signs, that are fixed with Taurus, as well as my earth signs, that are, earth signs with Taurus. You guys will be supported with this Jupiter abundance energy, Jupiter and the Jupiter pada of Taurus, especially if you spoke your things into existence with all that heart during the new moon, like you were supposed to, and then you're still working on it throughout this lunar cycle. It's definitely coming to you. All right. Then we get to the MC line. So now we on the line of business. Yeah, Taurus. Now we on the line of business. We made it to the line of business. So we start the 10th house in our thought process. The 10th house starts in Cancer energy. So nurturing, home and family, wanting to do business with, your familials. That is not happening in our thought process. We're not thinking about that. But when we get to Leo energy, now we're going external and outward. Now we're being confident and courageous and having experiences. We do have Mars there, and it is in Jupiter. So expansion to the motivation of thespianism is a big one right now. So a lot of actors and actresses see them on the forefront. A bunch of movies coming out. Also, anything in alignment with like inner child stuff. Like I see like a lot of nostalgic things coming out. Maybe like old movie remakes, old toys coming back out, a revamping of some like old like childhood type thing. Big on that. Big on like revamping nostalgic things. And that's all, that's in the mindset though. Don't forget that's your tropical chart. Now in the actual events we have Mars over here in the 10th house of business, more so in the home and family. So in the nurturing space of motivating the abundance in your solar plexus chakra, how you're enforcing things in your home and family, is being methodical with your home and family. All of that is happening here. How you need to nurture yourself. Whoop whoop wop. Then we go into the 11th house. There is no celestial body, but the 11th house does start in Leo energy. It starts in the Mercurian pada of Leo energy. At that, 11 is the house of society, electronic communication. This is the Aquarius house. This is the house of the Ketters. That auric connection to where we all get the same downloads at the same time. That ability to look at somebody and have a full blown conversation through facial expressions. That is our beautiful Aquarius energy, connecting the above and below, right? So we don't have any celestial bodies in that house, but it does go from Leo to Virgo energy. So it's all about going out, having experiences, also about organizing self, um, your time, your routine, and all that stuff. But we're not really there yet. We're still in winter. You know what I'm saying? Just give it time. We just started winter. We get into the 12th house, which is this is the house of Pisces. This is the house beneath the horizon. Now we're getting into the subconscious, our dreams, our secrets, the Akashic records, all that fun stuff. We also get into the realms of Mayat, our internal celestial law, that thin thread we're all hanging on. Um, and so in our thought process, we have the North Node in the 12th house in Libra. So definitely balancing the Mayat scales here. This is in the Saturn pada, so heavy challenges coming to people who do not. We have this at a 1 degree, so taking initiative to just flow in that is ideal. But yeah, this is where we are at our comfort self. It should become like second nature to move in this way of evening the scales and being aware of your energy exchanges, what you're supposed to be doing. And if you're not in action of it, then that guilt should be loud as shit, whether it's like how you're talking to yourself right now or how you are absorbing the experience. Like your internal sounds should be very loud when you're going against the grain. And then we get into the south node on the Vedic. So while all that's going in your mind about like how important it is to be balanced, to be lawful and moral, in our actual energy exchanges, we are in Virgo with the north node in the 12th house. We are in the pada of Venus. So this is affecting what we value and what we prioritize in our space and in that pursuit of being lawful in our mindset. Also dealing with what we harvest, So based upon how much in alignment you are, that depends on what kind of reality you have around you. So if your reality ain't righteous, you got to check your scales. It's not just scales of like, give and take, whatever. It could also be your scales of being in the reality versus being in your head all the time, or being in reality versus being in virtual reality. Like there has to be a balance. Pull the magician card. I know it's very difficult and it can lead to role strain and burnout. But when rest, don't forget to rest. Balance there too. Hey, unholy one. Uh, and then when we have the ascendant line, we come into the first house, of course, and the fortune is here. Paying attention to our auric body is where our fortune lies, the energy that we're giving off, what we wish to attract. And that starts with dealing with your heart and your mind. Say something with all that heart and all that mind. Thank you for the favorite. Let it come true. So we have the fortune in the first house in Libra, saying what we invoke in our space is, where our energy is at. This is in the Mercurian Pada. Now, over here in the Vedic, in our actual events and energy exchanges, we have ourselves in the first house. Now, we are in Virgo, so we're harvesting that in our space. Basically, what I just said, y'all want me to say it again? Wherever your mind is at and wherever your heart is at is what you're experiencing in your physical space. So, if you are imbalanced with any parts of self within, that is what you're experiencing on the outside. So go within and recalibrate, rebalance, do some things, work on your work ethic. I know we're in the middle of winter. It's not the funnest time to do things, but you can do something. And so that's how we started it. That's the energy we started off the New Year's with. How you doing, Unholy One? Happy Wednesday. And yeah, it's fun there. The next new moon is January 29th. Um, let's talk about it. We do have our next new moon happening in the fourth house again. So we will be starting on the IC line once again. All these planetary placements are on the IC line of home and family, nurturing, going inward, your sense of belonging, connectivity. Y'all not gonna wanna be alone. Check on your friends that's over there battling thoughts of being alone, because I'm sure they're going through it. Reverse hermit cards on all of y'all. Um But whether it's from a societal, because all of this fourth house energy is in Aquarius, which is society. It could be virtual because Aquarius also rules over electronic communication. But it is like a sense of belonging that everybody will be longing for. You're okay? That's good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, love. So all this is happening in our thought process. You got Mercury in the first house, in the third, you got Mercury at 1 degree in the third house in Aquarius. So Mercury is invoking that community, communication, your intellectual self, right? So invocation starts there. Then you got Pluto making transformations and empowerment. That's also sitting at 1 degree. So we have a conjunction. We have like a conjunction, a occultation between Mercury and Pluto happening at 1 degree. So when you say it, it's going to happen, not just in the physical, but also in the non-physical. Next new moon is a really good one to manifest things in your space. It's looking like a good time, right? This is also right in the third house of community communication. Then you have the moon sitting in Aquarius at a 5 degree. 5 degree is the enforcer. So the third eye is going to enforce these things. The spirit is definitely going to respond. The universe is definitely responding. That's happening in the fourth house. Hey, Old Town, your sense of belonging and nurturing space. So whatever ritual you do, let it be water. Let it be water, like water and air. Have a feather, because 4 is Cancer house, and then we are in the year of 9. Actually, you kind of could have all of the elements for real, because 9 is Sagittarius, that's fire. 9 is also Cancer, that's water. And then the moon and the sun are over here in a water slash earth situation. Oh yeah, air in our thoughts and earth situation in the Vedic chart. So you could really have all 4 elements if you want to play with it for real. Oh, that's fine. But for the sake of conversation in this moment here in time, the moon sitting in Aquarius, which is air, is in the fourth house of water, which is Cancer. Definitely heavily have those elements there. And then also, if you want to touch the 4 corners, make sure the air represents Aquarius, which is society. 4 represents sense of belonging, which is the water. And then in our happenings, Capricorn is where this energy is at, and that is the root chakra, earth. So have like a root chakra type stone, and then we're in the 9 of Sagittarius, so you want to have like a sacral chakra type of fire, like an orange candle. So you could touch those 4 corners like that for my spellcasters out here that like to have like altars and stuff. And then we have the sun sitting at a 9 degree, which is completion and wholeness in the fourth house of home and family and nurturing in Aquarius. So not only do our experiences and our thoughts what's nurturing and stuff, but also our desires on our experience and how we want to give off. We want to be nurturing to other people. I don't want to just have a husband. I want to be a wife. You know what I'm saying? That's how it flows. So we have that divine alignment happening in Aquarius and the society, our sense of belonging. We have this divine lineup over here in our Vedic chart too. While those 4 are chilling there, we do have Mercury and Pluto sitting in the third house of our community and communication. They're still sitting on top of each other, but they're at a 7 degree of balance. And they're in Capricorn. So now it's like all about infrastructure. So our mindset is on society, our happenings is on the infrastructure of things, the challenges, how to obtain the resources that's needed, having a plan, an outline of the things. We're speaking it, we're making the transformations, we're empowering ourselves, you know, all that fun stuff. You might lose some stuff, but it's to make space for what you need. The sun and moon are also sitting here in our experiences, so it's the third eye, is a spiritual and a mental game. It's, mother and father energy here with the infrastructure. So you're going to feel it not just on a feminine level inward, but also on a masculine level outward. Again, on the fourth house, home and family and nurturing. So that's a lot. Like when I look at it, I think of like education system, something changing within the education system with that Mercury over there in Capricorn, some type of transformation, a swing of the pendulum. And then I also, with Pluto sitting there next to all of them on both times, like, how they've been having the massacres to start off the year. I definitely see some of those like resurfacing in some type of way, shape, or form, to create some level of balance, because both Pluto also rules over death. So having death in that Capricorn energy, not just deals with infrastructure, but there are personifications on this plane of that said infrastructure. So whatever those personifications may be, being the head of something, creating that level of death. Anyway, so I do see those type of things happening. Then we get into the fifth house. This is the house of Leo. This is the Tipperef energy. So now we have a nice lineup. Around this time is also when you can go outside and you can see these planets lined up too. You're gonna be able to see a nice little line across the sky. Bright stars. They are the planets. So when we move over into Pisces in the fifth house, now we're in the space of the subconscious, the dreams, and all those things like that. We have Saturn sitting there, at a 17 degree. We have Mars at a 25, finding balance and harmony on how we enforce. No, that's Venus. Finding balance and harmony how we enforce things on our heart chakra. Then we have Neptune, and then we have the North Node, and that's all sitting in the fifth house of Leo. So being more confident, courageous, how you face on your spiritual battles, your emotional battles, back and forth with your mindset. Also, new infrastructure and the things that you believe in, as that deconstruction is happening with Pluto sitting over there in Capricorn. Venus being there, it's business and wealth happening in the space. So this is a lucrative time for spiritualists, readers, mediums, tarot. 129 is a good day for y'all. Y'all do some dope shit on that new moon. Neptune also being here is a big deal too. They're about Venus and Neptune are about 2 degrees apart. They're both very bright stars in the sky, so being able to see those is beautiful. So that's there. And then of course the North Node is sitting here, so this is the direction we're going towards, and this is the energy that's supporting it. The challenges and the root of it all, how we emotionally feel about it, and our dreams are subconscious. It's a nice like three-way situation, between our dreamlike self and the new beginnings that come out of it. Now on the Vedic chart, because that's all happening in our thought process and our actual happenings and energy exchanges, we do still have that lineup of Saturn, Venus, Neptune, and the North Node. It is starting in Aquarius and moving to Pisces. So where like in our thought process, the challenges are going to what we believe in our spiritual experience, and our actual happenings, the challenges are happening in society, how we move as a society, because it was built on a certain kind of religious spiritual practice. And so now that we're transforming in our mindset about things, now is transforming what's actually happening to us as a society. Venus is over here in Pisces in our thought process, with the our emotional connection to what we believe in, how we prioritize it, how we value it, the businesses that have been made off of it. And so over here in our actual happenings, Pluto is sitting in Pisces. Again, this is a good time for my mediums, my tarot readers, etc., etc., because this is a good space of business for you guys. Neptune is also sitting right here in the North Node, like I said. And so then when we get into the sixth house, remember this is the sixth house of dis-ease, ailments and things like that. We have Chiron here, which is our wounds, how we transmute our wounds into our strength. And we do need new beginnings with how we use our wounds. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are healing and finding new beginnings on how they transmute their wounds, how they strengthen themselves applicating it into a daily routine, into your moral and integral codes. So that means that if you're still acting like you're wounded, you're trying to hurt people first, you push people away first, you isolate yourself first, you put up boundaries and walls first and all that stuff, you always on the defense and nothing even happened yet, you're not moving from a healed Chiron. Your Chiron is not in Aries. Get it together. Okay. As far as in our Vedic chart, Chiron is sitting over here in the sixth house in Pisces. So it's a spiritual experience for that mental transmutation. All right. We're having a spiritual energy exchange, how we behave, how balanced we are, because Pisces is Mayat, how we express our alignment with that internal law, all of that matters. So now we've gotten to the DC line. So now we're at that balance between personal and business and professional, right? We get into the seventh house, that's the Libra house, balancing those scales. In our thought process, we still have Uranus here in Taurus. We're going to be here for a little bit. Uranus is going to be in Taurus until 2026, but Uranus has been there since 2019, at least on the tropical chart, how our mindset is at. And so Uranus is still here, and then creating progressive pushes in our space of business and wealth and value, the pentacles, love, facets of love, forgiveness. And then in the seventh house on the Vedic, Uranus is there. Uranus is sitting in Aries. It's sitting at 29 degrees. So Uranus hasn't even entered Taurus on the constellation. Actually, it has before it went into retrograde. Uranus is in retrograde right now. My bad, y'all. But it'll be going back in Taurus for good in 2026. And then it'll be entering the Taurus constellation later on this year. And so right now our actual energy exchanges is still giving us those, like, destroying things, destruction, brand new, the militant progressiveness and all those different things. And then once we get into Taurus, it's going to be more monetary progression, more value, more beautiful. Like, we made it through Uranus and Mars, Uranus and Aries. Jesus, you made it. We're almost done, y'all. Because when Uranus entered Taurus during 2018, that happened in the beginning of the month. By the end of the month, schools were shut down, the jobs were shut down. They're trying to reconfigure how they move the money around. It's the progressive pushes of Uranus and Taurus. So I'm curious to see what it will happen when it enters the constellations, because that was just like, the tropical, that was just mindset, because I couldn't understand for the life of me why people weren't just washing their hands. It was the mindset that really like expanded that. Like, even when you my condolences to the lives lost, but even when you look at the numbers compared to the numbers on regular day, that was really like a big mind game. So I'm curious to see what'll happen with Uranus going into the actual Taurus constellation. Now we get into the eighth house. The eighth house, we have the vortex here and we have Jupiter here. So transformations and empowerment, secrets coming out, the marketplace, the elders of the witches, all of that is, big, expanded, abundance, exaggeration happening here with Jupiter also being philanthropic and generous, listening to the oracles and sages. A lot of people getting downloads about other people's business. The spirits on the other side is gossiping hard as fuck, and we over here listening and gossiping right back. But it's a nice connection of it all. And that's the alignment between Vortex and Jupiter, right? Like I said, it's happening in the community and communications on our thought process, but in our actual energy exchanges and events, this is in Taurus. So it's, our Vortex is on feeling empowerment, what we find value in. If what you find value in doesn't empower you, then you got to switch that up. A lot of you guys are trying to find value in things that make you feel less than, or make you feel like you're never going to have enough of, or you're never going to do enough or be enough for, and so that's not really empowering you. So hopefully this Jupiter and Vortex over here is like, showing you what to value, because there's a difference between securing your root chakra and your purpose, and what you really spending your time doing. And I know we live in a society that makes us spend more time securing our root chakra than being able to do anything else. And that's a big issue here. And, hopefully Pluto down there doing its thug dizzle in our root chakra between Capricorn and Aquarius provides us the transformations and the swing of the pendulum that we need between the people and the powers that be and our, root chakra, Capricorn and Aquarius. So, but in the meantime, in between time, you still got to do the self work. You know what I'm saying? So that you can be prepared to receive when those spaces open, because when those spaces open and you're not properly doing the work, you're not going to see the signs that it's time for you to jump out the window. You're going to make up a bunch of excuses and reasons, and that's because you're not healed. You're not, paying attention to your vortex. You're not paying attention to how you attract things in your space. You're not paying attention to your personal mathematics. You're not paying attention to your personal planetary alignments. And if you don't want to use those kind of jargons, you're not paying attention to your psychological health. You're not paying attention to your physical health. You're not paying attention to your emotions, your intuition, the voices in your head. You're debating them and you're suppressing them, and you're wondering why you're depressed. Okay? You have to express, put it out there. I know a lot of stuff that you want to do goes against society and and it ain't even real society. It's the society that's being oppressed upon us as a collective. I know a lot of the things that you want to do will go against that grain. But that's why a lot of people are suffering under mental health issues, because it's a lot of the things that all of us want to do as a collective is going against that grain. So we're all being suppressed in some type of way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, a lot of this Aquarian placement should put y'all in a one. And the Aquarian placement's happening around the third and fourth house, around the IC line. There's a sense of belonging and connectivity that needs to happen here, where we both realize that we're all on the same ketters. We're all in that Asar all set connection together in the physical. So like if we're connected all together, like the roots to all the trees are connected, right? And that's how we are intellectually. Our cosmic roots are all connected together, right? And so if that's how it's going, then we need to move accordingly. We all have the same woes, the same worries, the same desires. It's just the details to it is different, because we all different puzzle pieces to the bigger picture, but we're all still a part of that big picture. So it's coming into that space of like there's a sense of belonging here, to where like we all want to have our root chakra in a collective, we want the same shit. I don't want to struggle to survive. I want to start having fun here. The fun is not happening. So eventually people get mad enough, or people get, confident enough, courageous enough, and tap into like the different fire placements. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's Jupiter. Jupiter and Vortex in the eighth house of empowerment, y'all. Transformations to the business and wealth. Okay, so now we go into the ninth house. The ninth house, we have Mars there. Again, this is for the new moon on January 29th. Uh, we have ninth house of expansion, abundance, creating that utopia, being philanthropic, getting those downloads from the oracle and the sage, paying attention to your nervous system, your neurons. And so we have Mars there. So the gut is in alignment with your nervous system. For those of you guys that do deal with mental health issues or gut health issues or whatever, this is a beautiful time to fast during this new moon. Reset yourself. Um, so yeah, that's what you want to do there. And if you guys do have gut health issues and you like to ignore them and you still want to do what you want to do, you're definitely going to feel a return right here with Mars in the ninth house, that connectivity. In our thought process, it is in Cancer, so you're going to want to nurture. You're going to want to pay attention to these things. It's going to dawn on you like you need to make a doctor's visit. You need to do this. You need to do that. Don't ignore it. I know you got to go to work. Jesus Christ, we all got to go to work. It's not that deep. Felt like I was talking to somebody specifically. Like, I gotta go to work. I don't got time to go to. Jeez, I get it. Okay, so Mars is in Gemini, and our actual energy exchanges, while our mindset is on nurturing that spark part of stuff. You gotta go out into your community. You're gonna go out into your neighborhood. You're gonna go to the local doctor. You're gonna go outside. You're gonna talk to people. You're gonna get it done. Okay. So then we get to the MC line. So now we're in business, right? So now in a space of business, this MC line and our thought process starts in Leo. So place of business is already on like, yo, when the summertime hit, woo woo wop, this is what we doing, this is success. I want to be confident, courageous. I want to be, whatever. We don't have any celestial bodies there also. We don't have any celestial bodies in the Vedic chart, of course. But that MC line does start in Cancer. So actual energy exchange is starting from the home and family and nurturing, and then going into Leo, being confident, courageous. So the actual energy exchanges moving slower than the mindset. Again, give yourself grace. When you think it and you're confident, this is not at this point in time. We will be in the lunar new year. We will officially be in the year of the snake on 129, because that's the second new moon after the winter solstice, which is how the lunar new year is calculated. So when we're in that space, this is not the space and time to be impulsive in this space and time. And that's another reason why I'm going to read that Metu Netter excerpt at the end of this, because We read that in the book club, and it was on time. I'm late for a book club right now, and I know my friend is mad. I'm on my way, girl. I'm almost done. But so this is why it's a good time to like clear your mind and be very like intentional with what it is that you want to manifest into your space, because the actual energy exchanges is moving way slower than your thought process. So you imagine the things to be right now, but then give it space for the time to catch up. I'm gonna read it to y'all. Okay, so then we go into the 11th house. Now the 11th house in our thoughts start at Virgo. So 11th house is society. You know, that's the revolutionary, unique, the Asar all set, the power to be one with all. You know what I'm saying? And excuse me, we have the South Node right there on the line of 0 degree Libra, but you know it teeter totters back and forth. But it's at 0 degree Libra in the 11th house in Virgo. So, finding balance and harmony, justice, moving from that Maya energy, paying attention to bonds and contracts in the society. That's what we got comfortable with. That's where we're coming from. We're moving to 0 degrees Aries, so new beginnings, burning up, getting rid of a lot of those bonds and contracts. Um, a lot of destruction going on. So I I hate to break it to a lot of people, because a lot of people have been spending a lot of time doing all this paperwork stuff, and a lot of that paperwork stuff that y'all been doing is going to be so pointless real soon. Now for some of you guys, y'all were supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to spend that time to do that so that this stuff can get destroyed, because what it's doing is jam packing certain, facilities from executing certain paperwork, right? With the sovereignty thing and the birth certificates and, business, the LLCs, the EINs and all that shit. You guys are, congesting the flow of paperwork that they're accustomed to. But it's going to get to a point where all this paperwork, hey Adonis, all this paperwork is going to become asinine because of how it's going to blow up. I'm not saying what you did was in vain, because in some type of way, shape, or form. But for the ones that held out, hold on a second, your time is coming. And don't get all in your ego and I told you so, I told you I ain't had to do none of that paperwork, fuck that. Because they had their place and they did something and it did affect the things. So everybody has their place on the board. So if anything, we give them thanks for doing the paperwork and paving the way so that we didn't have to, or at least so I could do it partially. It's like, no, I'm gonna finish my paperwork. I'm in the process. Life has been lifing on my ass. And I guess I'm one of those people that gotta wait, because the resistance be wild, and the reality that all that paperwork and stuff creates. I don't like being in courtrooms. I don't want to do that all the time. And I'm a manifester, so by me doing all that research on the stuff, I was always in a courtroom. It was so crazy. Didn't like it there. Anyway, so in our energy exchanges, we're in that 11th house and we're harvesting, you know what I'm saying? So again, coming from that space of how balanced you are with Mayat, how balanced you are in your bonds and contracts and stuff like that. That's what you're harvesting in your space. That's the reality that you're going to have. So if y'all got some unfinished business and different things going on, you might want to wrap some things up during this month of one, which also deals with being a cardinal energy and taking initiative on some things. You know what I'm saying? When then we get into the 12th house, this is the Pisces house. Now we're dealing with the subconscious and the dreams, things hidden beneath the horizon. And so we do have Lilith there. Lilith is the primordial energy, the things that we suppress in ourselves, we don't like to see other people doing. We expect them to suppress it as well instead of celebrating these parts of ourselves. A lot of y'all Liliths have been going crazy, especially with Lilith being in Virgo, for as long as it has been. And so, in our thought process, Lilith is in Libra energy, so it has been in like, a lot of people suppressing their spiritual self, suppressing like their interpersonal relationships, how they want to carry out interpersonal relationships, the different interpersonal relationships they got. Some of y'all got more than what y'all being admitting to having. Hey big cat, how you doing, beloved? um yeah, harmony, justice, people's interactions with the justice system, a lot of court cases coming, as people's primordial, like things they've been hiding and suppressing is coming out into light, it's putting them in spaces where law and justice is coming into play, with that being surrounded by the 12th house and Libra. People not really being able to do too much in the dark is happening, at least in people's mindsets, because that is the tropical. Always feel like I'm standing up for the underdog. Yeah, yeah, because a Libra can be the people pleaser energy too. But it's a lot of Libras starting to come out and stand up for themselves and say, hey, fuck that. And, with that comes the equal opposite energy because, as Libra does that, what's happening is Lilith is sitting there in Virgo on the Vedic in the 12th house. So it's harvesting things in their space. That's how we end this new moon energy on, harvesting what it is and how balanced you are there. If you are a people pleaser versus like having that balance of I give and I take, I got boundaries and I got mercy or whatever. um and it's a spiritual experience to do that. Again, pay attention to your subconscious. We are in the year of 9. This is Jupiter year. It's a great time to listen to your spirit. Do it and let it take you places you've never been. So now we've gotten to the AC line. Now we're in how you exert yourself, your appearance that you give off, your auric energy. Once again, we have the fortune here. We start the AC line off of course, in the first house in Scorpio. So empowerment, mindset is on empowerment. How well you've been dealing with transformations. Again, we're entering the vibe of the snake. I suggest during that new moon, y'all start studying the snake. Study how the snake interacts with your personal Chinese zodiac. Study how the snake interacts with your personal Western placements. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, that's what I would do. That's what I'm going to do, and it works for me. So I suggest y'all do the same. You know what I'm saying? And I'll give you an idea on how to utilize your energy to get that fortune. You got to move in a powerful, empower yourself. Um, and that's what's happening on our thought process. Now, what's actually happening in the Vedic chart and our energy exchanges, we do have the fortune in the first house, but it's in Libra energy. So it is in those bonds and contracts, interpersonal relationships, people that pop up in your space. Um, that justice and truth and righteousness and all that fun stuff happening there. Um, how balanced you've been in these relationships is where your fortune's coming from. So in your mindset, if you're not, again, if you're doing something, if you're accumulating, if you're valuing something that does not empower you, it's going to come out. That fortune in Scorpio is in opposition to that Uranus and Taurus in the 7th house. So allow those two to align and be a wand for you. In our happenings, that fortune in Libra, that balance and harmony, is in opposition with that Uranus and Aries, that new beginning with the progressive push. You know what I'm saying? So allow those to align for you. We don't have any celestial bodies in the second house. The second house is the house of values and priorities, and that's sitting in Sagittarius. So nobody's really valuing joy right now. I guess by the end of the month we gonna be pooped too. I don't know, but then we get back into the third house of community and communication. That starts off as Sagittarius house as well, and then we're right back at start at our IC line. So that is from new moon to new moon, from 12:30 to 1:29, y'all. We got like some really dope things happening. Really cool shifts. A lot of focus is on our wintertime placements. So do my people who have wintertime placements, these are the parts of yourself you might want to focus on. Wherever you have Pisces, more so Pisces and Aquarius in the tropical chart, or Capricorn and Pisces in the Vedic. That's where a lot of the work is being done on the personal planets. Um, and then you guys, for my spring babies that I heard, what about me? You guys can focus on Taurus and Gemini. There's some heavy placements there with Uranus and Jupiter. So, we got a little bit of spring happening, but the spring is more so like planning and organizing, like pre-gaming for when we hit those numbers. Miles. And so, y'all, what else? It's a great time for my earth, water, and air. And I'll do my mathematics. I'll do my mathematics when I do my mathematics. I don't think I'm going to do those during the planetary forecast anymore. I will be expanding my mathematics because I've seen a lot of people had a lot of different discrepancies with us being in the year of 9 right now. And so I will be expanding them to include the Kemetic year. I'm the Kemetic year is supposed to be the year 424 we're supposed to be in right now. And I believe the Ethiopian year is 2017. And so be doing that in my mathematics. And yeah, let me get the Metu Netta book. Can y'all give me like 2 seconds? Let me get that so I can read that to you. Ooh. All right, so I kind of like my notes more than I like the actual book because my notes are better. And so I'm gonna go through my notes. This is one of my big ass notebooks with all my notes in it. I got like 3 of these joints. Okay. La, 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 la. And so what I'm about to read to y'all is how to use your Sephiroths or your spheres on yourself. And I suggest you guys come to me for a reading because what I do is I place your planetary placements, preferably your progressive chart. Unless you guys want to do your inner child shadow work, cool. If you guys still letting your inner child do all the things, cool. But get into your progressive chart, y'all. We're adults. Use both, okay? But I would suggest using your progressive chart when applicating these planetary placements into your Sephiroths. Come to me for a reading. I'll place your planets into your Sephiroths, and so you'll know specifically what planets, what energy, what elements when you're referring to each Sephiroth. So this is the Tree of Life guide to planning. So we start at Amen. Amen is kind of like the 0. That's the in between. Okay. This is before planning. Clear out all your notions. Everything else don't matter no more. Meditate, clear your mind, play some like white noise, whatever you need to do. All right. Then we get into the Asar. So now we're in our Ketters. We're in the first sphere. Just to remind you, in our Ketters, we have, in the new moon, when we get to 129, we're going to have the sun and moon there. That's Aquarius energy. We have Saturn in the Ketters. That's, the challenges in our space. We have, can I go backwards by just pressing or no? I wanted too much. I said we had Pluto, right, with the transformations in our Ketters, empowerment. So, that's what we're dealing here. Transformations and challenges could be happening here, experience and experience. But when we get to Asar, we're going to discover the central theme. All right. What is the theme of what it is that we're trying to manifest? Then we get to our Tahuti. Okay. So, Tahuti is like now we're coming down to our head. This is when we consult an oracle or a sage on our theme and details that identify means to carry out the theme, organize them, rank, and polarity. So when you get to Tahuti, you're kind of like in Jupiter, you're in wisdom, you're in Chokma, you're now in the second Sephiroth. So we know Jupiter rules over Sagittarius energy. So, that's where the sun is at. When we started the new moon energy on the 30th, go from whatever planetary placements we have in Sagittarius. But this is consulting the oracle and sage on your theme. So whatever deity you want to go to. In Metu Netter, they have the Kemetic deities. You can go to the Orishas. You can go to the angels. I have a really good angel book my people's put me on. I put these sigils on my altar and my paintings. Want to do henna with the sigils. They go over the different angels and then the different sigils to create for the different angels, the different hakals as you're writing down the sigils, all of that. And I got this on Amazon. I think it was like $13. So this is a good one. Highly recommend it. I use it. Let me tell you. I'm going to get better with using my stuff because I'm one of those people I was talking about when I was like, we know you got to go to work. Because I'm like, I got to make money. I can't keep indulging in my spiritual stuff. But it was like, if you indulge in your spiritual stuff, you won't need the money. I'm like, I know, but anyway, that's my internal argument. But yeah, Tahuti. So you're going to organize and rank the means that you need to carry out your theme. So now we're utilizing our wisdom, right? These are the resources that I need. And then you get into Seker. So now you're in your understanding. Now you're in Bina. That's Saturn, okay? You're going to chant the Heka of the deity that governs the situation. So the sigils and stuff. So now you're going to that deity that generate the underlying structure to complete what it is that you're trying to do. So you done cleared out your mind. You got a theme of what you're trying to do. You done thought about all the resources and stuff that you need to do it based upon your wisdom. You know what I'm saying? And now you're coming to a level of understanding by standing under whatever deity, Orisha, Sephiro, whatever, the Hakal you want to chant, the sigil you want to use to whatever, for completion. Then you come into Mayat. Now we're in the fourth Sephiro. This is Chesed. Mayat is Neptune, which can also be Jupiter. Depends on what era you're looking at the star map. Anyway, so in this time, you seek analogies to your undertaking and a central theme. And that's why Maya and Pisces is so dreamy, because this is the part where you visualize. Now I'm visualizing me being in the space. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm creating analogies. So it's like, oh, I'm about to flourish. Like, I'm going to imagine myself planting sunflowers, and the sunflowers just keep growing, 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 growing. And I'm associating that with the people that I help, my clientele, um, my abundance in return. If I want fame, if I want money, if I want resources, like those, you hear what I'm saying with this? This is the part where you use that Maya and you create that visualization. This is the stage of synthesis. So now you're aligning that subconscious, that analogy with the reality of the planning and stuff, right? Then you tap into your Herakahuti. Now we're in the celestial enforcer. This is Ogun, Aries, solar plexus chakra, the gut that controls the mind, right? So this is where we get the abstract distinction between the pattern of your undertaking and those that are analogous. So now we know, like, okay, this is the dream. This is the fantasy. This is the actual plan. So we have that mindset of both. We done connected the feminine and masculine, and now we have the ability to separate and put them together. Separate, put them together when needed, right? Then you come into Heru, which is Venus. Now we're in the celestial designing. We're in the seventh Sephira. This is the crossroad. So firmly keep in mind your readiness to run the project and not let the project run you. We're going to prioritize. We're going to value. But like I said, that Uranus and Taurus is what you're valuing, not valuing you back. We love beauty, right? We love ease. That's what Venus loves, beauty and ease. Venusian placements are not here to struggle. I ain't never seen an Oshun being like, I can't wait to struggle. Like, we don't do that here. Venus is not with the shits. Aphrodite has never been with the shit. We don't struggle. I don't care if there's a war 2 feet away from me. I'm not struggling. Somebody, okay? Then we come into Het Heru. So now we are in I said these backwards. Heru is supposed to be it is the heart chakra, but Heru is Leo. I'm sorry. Um that's the crossroad. Because Leo is the heart chakra and is the Tippereth, and now that's the sixth Sephiroth. But it still deals with, Venusian type energy. But firmly keep your mind your readiness. So that's being confident, courageousness. Now we get into Venusian energy, 7, Netzach. Now we're in Het Heru. That's Venus. So now you're ready to visualize the stages from the beginning to the end. So now we're in the celestial designing. So your Heru is your heart chakra, Tippereth, Leo energy. This is when you firmly keep it in your heart. You let it in your heart. That's why Jesus want to go in your heart. That's why spirituals want to go in your heart. That's why love is the strongest magic. That's why, how your heart pumps. Your heart pumps into all of your veins that go all across your body to everything in your body. The heart is very important, okay? That is the crossroad. It crossroads to all of the body systems, all of the Sephiroths. All the Sephiroths actually connect to Tippereth. Tippereth is the only one that, touches everybody. But yeah. Then you have the Het Heru, Netzach, Venusian energy, 7th sphere. We're visualizing and we're making it pretty. Then you get into Sebek. That's the 8th Sephirah. We just got out of the year of Sebek, right? The year of Sebek was all about being the celestial technician, labeling things, right? This is where we start to seek information. Sebek is associated with Mercury. Now we get into Had, which is splendor. We seek information, technical details regarding each step, phase, and element. So it's like Het Heru, Venus creates this beautiful outline, and then Sebek puts in the nooks and crannies. We're gonna need these tools. There's gotta be these measurements. Like you building a house. Okay, I know design wise, I want to be in a circle, and I want crystals everywhere, and I want flowers, and I want I want to wake up with a circle type bed. So now my mindset is like, okay, if I want those things in detail. I want the earth ship, so I need this amount of concrete, I need this kind of soil, I need this size bags, I need these kind of tools, I need this kind of measurements, and stuff like that. So much detail, so much detail. But this helps put into perspective. A lot of you guys be wanting to manifest big shit, and y'all don't be wanting to put in all the details and wonder why you get half-ass results. This also puts into perspective the grace you have to give yourself with the time. Because look at how long it takes to even manifest it from sitting from your living room. We didn't even get to Malkuth yet. We didn't even get to Jeb. We didn't get to the tip sphere yet. We're only in the eighth one. And look at how much time we've already had to spend. You know what I'm saying? So it'll help you give yourself more grace when you're doing slow and steady to your goal. When I speak to y'all, I'm definitely speaking to myself. Because one thing about Sunshine, I love to solve all my problems within 24 hours. If I could solve all my shit the moment I think of it, whew, perfect. But life won't let me do it. But so back, each step, phase, and element is being labeled here. Then we get into all set. Now we're in the ninth Sephiroth. Now we're in Yasad. Now we're in the moon. We're in the divine moon womb. We're in the ninth, giving birth. Yeah. So this is the medium mystic trance. Now we're gonna meditate. See, we didn't even get to meditate yet. We just did all the things. So now we're getting into the medium mystic trance, the meditation on each process that we have to go through, which is a whole thing in itself, right? Because there's so many pieces and elements. You know what I'm saying? And then you get into Jeb. Jeb is the physical work and the realization of your goal, which is, the actual like rolling up my sleeves and getting it done. But you had to do all of that internal work before you could even get to Jeb. So, hopefully that puts you guys in a good mindset on, how to manifest your stuff. I'm telling y'all, the Hakals are very powerful. If you guys want the Metu Netter book, reach out to me because we are reading that in the book club right now. Once we finish volume 1, we're going to move on to volume 2 and volume 3. So let me know if y'all want to join. If those of you guys who were in the book club, if you want to return, you're more than welcome to. Yeah. But that's a good book to tap into to get into manifesting in this year of 9. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling y'all. This is the book that I use. I am a manifester. I be manifesting shit. Do I do it to the level that I should be doing it, that I could be doing it because I'm really fucking good at this? No, I don't, because I be letting a lot of shit get in my way. I do self-sabotage. And that is my moment of transparency. Okay? We listen and we don't judge. uh but yeah, so that's what I got. That's what I got. That's my closing statement. That's what I got. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. And I got a whole bunch of other ways you can use those Sephiroths as well when you get into meditation and healing and shadow work and stuff like that. But I'm not giving y'all access to that because that's a part of my ongoing therapy session. And if you ain't investing in that therapy session, you don't get that access. But I do all of that. I do the shadow work and the healing through the Netherus for you, through your Sephiroths and stuff like that. And just how intricate that was with just manifesting, that's how intricate we get with your healing process. So, it's a whole thing. You're going to have to put in some work. It do take a few months, and it is what it is. It took a lot of years for you to even get all that traumatic stuff. So the fact that it was going to take you a few months to finish my program is a plus, and be grateful. I appreciate y'all tapping in with me. All right, we're gonna make sure that we do this YouTube joint right, because last time YouTube tried to play me and they had me they make my videos private. That's what it was. And so it made me sad. So we're gonna try it again. Peace, y'all.